good to see all the friends whom we've been missing each other for last 2 years, meeting on the dais after a long, long time. I think it'll be an interesting session because we have a pretty eclectic panel of speakers today. They represent the retail business, obviously, but very different facets of the retail business, fashion, real estate development, so we're going to get the perspective on both the sides, what's happening on the malls and retailer side, who's doing what in retail in terms of the digitization. Today is a big buzzword. One of the retail companies made a big stock listing today, and it's become a record-breaking one. So I'm sure it's a great topic to cover today as well. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Sanjay. Let's start with you, since you're starting on the first one. You've had a retail brand for, how many years has the brand been there, Sanjay? I know I had a last chat with you a couple of months back. I don't remember the number of years, but I know you've been in this business for quite some time. What's been the change we've seen with the online commerce come in, and how are you adopting digitization, or I would say in terms of tech in your own business?
Hello.
Particularly in the offline, get your offline business alongside.
So next year would be the 30th year for Spikr.
Yeah, I remember that was many years. So that's why I said I don't exactly remember the year, but it's been many years. I know you've been on a big retail journey.
Yeah, so I guess we've been through the entire evolution of retail, if I can be allowed to say so. So basically, the success of the brand, whether it's Spikr or any other brand, would be that it encompasses and also adapts to changing environments. And thankfully, apart from being a retailer, we are also a brand. So every shifting mechanism which happens as far as channels are concerned is probably to an advantage to the brand. And so from that perspective, I think online doesn't actually become something which is, it's kind of, it adds to the whole and doesn't take anything away from the rest. At Spikr also, we've kind of aligned with that philosophy. And we believe that while we are right now looking at online from a very value-centric perspective, there would be a time when online will become more of convenience as how it is in mature economies. And we'll bide for our time where convenience becomes a lot more important than the value. But for us to be able to, partake that growth and the fruits of that growth, we have started moving more online from the last 4 or 5 years. And we really don't see online as a competitor to offline. With Omni, and Omni is working very well. Today, 200 stores of Spikr are Omni-enabled. We feel that there is a great bit of synergy which happens between online and offline. And both of them are working very much well in tandem. So I just see great things happening for retail as a whole. And as and when consumerism increases in India, whether it's pushed by online or offline, I think we all are going to benefit from it.
And Sanjay, I know a lot of the brands, and I'm sure Rajesh has got a lot more to add also on that, because he's investing big time on the e-commerce website of Lacoste as well. But Sanjay, from your perspective, one is the online commerce, which is an omni-channel, which is a retail physical store as well as an online presence. But what about using a lot more digital and technology within the store in a mall? I mean, are you investing in that? Is something happening there? What more are you doing? Are you seeing there is going to be a big change there?
So as a brand, we aim to be at more number of touch points. And we really don't have a plan to be very large in a format. So from that perspective, to invest too much on technology for each store may not be too wise. But I feel that whatever we can do with the size and the shape that we are in currently in Spikr, we are adapting to as much digital commerce that we can from a store perspective. So we are moving into a lot more categories for which there's not much space in the store. So endless aisle obviously comes into play, and sizes. And so from that perspective, whatever little that we can let digital help to grow the business within the size that we are currently operating in, we are adapting to it.
And does the customer asking for more in that case? Or a customer is saying, I'm fine with whatever, I have an option now of an online store and an offline store, and I want the offline store experience to be absolutely touch and feel, customer interfacing. Or like I saw a store of Amazon wherein there is nobody to service you or even talk to you, right? You just go there with a pad or a phone and you can just keep buying and go out. But in India, people will accept that, or they want that customer service representative or a customer services manager to be there, helping them out, helping them choose, design, or they just, no? Or do you think that's not going to change in India? We're still very touch-feel people.
Yeah, so I think 9 out of 10 customers who are out there in a mall shopping are people who love physical shopping. You know, so they are there because they see shopping in a physical environment a lot more fun, more inclusive, you know, more of an occasion. So I don't think that they're too gung-ho on the digital interface that a store would have. That's my experience, and I may be wrong, or maybe it doesn't apply to everybody on the panel. But I feel that so basically India as an environment for any family or for any individual is not so great as far as, you know, leisure time is concerned. So there are not too many places that one can really hang out except for malls. And I think that's one area of, which is sacrosanct for many families, you know, where they want to spend time together, whether it's shopping, whether it's food, whether it's movie, and so on and so forth. And they are not ready to really create that with anything. So I really don't see too many people coming across and saying, because you are not so digitally savvy or you're not having the optimum digital interventions, or maybe Spyker is not the brand. I think there are people who really love physical shopping out there in a mall. So even if you're not encompassed everything, it works.
You know, and Sanjeev, you know, you run a very celebrity-endorsed brand, which is very, very well known in the fashion space, in terms of the young fashion space and the others, and Being Human, and you've recently taken over the CEO of them. Many, many congratulations. How are you seeing the journey of the customer? Because I remember Being Human starting off as a brand was a very basics fashion brand, and then suddenly evolved to a very, very high fashion brand. And apart from being celebrity endorsed, it's trying to create a space for themselves as an Indian fashion brand in its own. So how are you seeing the digital journey of a brand like that in the physical space?
Okay, so here's my take. Look, we are basically, I will not say that, you know, we are a millennial brand, because we have 30, 35 plus age group also shopping with us. We also have the Gen Z, and we also have, you know, the millennials coming and shopping with us. So where does that take us? And just to take all of you all back 2 years back or 3 years back, I think in the same platform, we were talking about 2%, 3% growth in terms of omni-channel. Exactly 3 years back when we were on the same platform. And look what the entire lockdown has propelled us to. The entire lockdown has actually propelled and forced the consumer to actually start adopting digital as a way of life. I mean, I've heard so many people in the morning talk about, you know, Damodar was talking about consumption of food, which went up, families staying together, cooking together, more shopping happening on food. And actually this entire propensity of the push was so high that digital adoption is something that we have to live with. Now, that's what I always say, that, you know, the world goes through these different phases of revolution which happens. And I mean, maybe some people agree with me, some don't, but digital is definitely going to be a part of the phygital life that we live. If I take away the mobile phone from everyone sitting here for 1 hour, trust me, I'll have at least 20 panic attacks happening. Now, why did I give that example? Because we are so used to the digital way of life. We are so used to living our life through our mobile phones and through other devices that it's just about impossible. And therefore, shopping also has become a part of that journey. Now, how do we look at our digital journey? For us, the physical store remains, but the physical store also kind of dovetails into becoming phygital stores. So therefore, I agree with Sanjay that the physicality of retail will not go away. As we sit here, probably 5 years down the line, the same forum, the same people here would be talking a different language. But digital is a part of our entire journey. We are investing very heavily on digital. And just to let you know that they might be, maybe in about 20 months, you might actually start seeing stores in malls which have no clothes in the racks. And in fact,
it's a wall which you can just go click, click, click and buy.
Exactly. So the idea is not to give them, take away from the experience of visiting a shopping destination. The idea is to live the digital life and romanticize the art of shopping in the physicality. That's the whole point. Now that might change. The way that we are getting into omni-channel, whether that's completely an inclusive omni-channel, which everybody is doing, the click and collect and, buy online, return it offline, buy offline, return it online, do all of those permutation combination is something that I think in the next year, every single retailer will get into it. But that's just a minuscule part of the digital piece that we are talking about here. Now, you took an example of the Amazon store. Now, just to let you know, about 4 years back, I did a case study on behalf of Cornell for that particular store in New York. The way that, researchers don't go wrong. So there is a certain amount of new generation people who are very impatient. Generation of ours would definitely go, spend about half an hour in the store, pick up the merchandise, understand it, wear it. But today's date, you look at how much shopping is happening online. Even now, even that the malls have opened up and high street is open, you still have people who are actually actively buying online. So there comes the question that what is going to happen? Is the physicality going to move away? No, it's not. Because definitely people have to, get into the recreation, get into the physicality part of retail. But will digital be a part of it? Yes, in a big way. As we speak, there are brands, and of course, for us also, we are growing by double digits every 2 months in terms of, the digital acquisition. So it's something that should not be ignored. We as a brand are investing very heavily on it because we don't want to miss the bus. As I always say that, it's important to get hold of these trends much earlier and much advanced so that you can actually, be very comfortable and have a smooth sailing when it comes to that. And that's how we are. We are basically, being human in a way, but also trying to bring in the digital part of humanity into our brand.
And Deepak, you've been running very successfully a women's and accessories brand. And in this journey, you've seen purely physical play to an omni-channel play which has come in as well. As I was understanding from Sanjeev, in your own store, have you changing the journey of the customer to make him move to a more digital platform, or in your case as well, it's still a lot about physicality of being touch is still the key thing people want to try on their clothes. They're not going to have this. I was reading, there was a scenario, and I know Sanjeev's past organization was saying that, listen, when you walk into the store, automatically the screen will measure your entire dimensions of your body and your suit will get delivered to you. Is that going to be the take away the customer experience, or the customer experience will still be that I want to pick up the dress from the rack, try it, try 5 dresses, which one looks good on me, and then I'm going to buy one of them or maybe 5 of them or whatever.
I think it's the same thing that what everybody is talking about, this physical, digital thing. It cannot be going in one direction. And if you see that, especially what Kazo is offering, it is really need to be tried, have the feeling for it, and occasions. I mean, it really need to be going to the trial room for sure. So it's if you see how the journey has been during this COVID thing and everybody has experienced it. Of course, there has been a place in digital which probably a lot of brands were not taking care of or never started to think about going online because they were quite happy with what they were doing physically, right, on the brick and mortar. So, but then they got a chance to establish their online stores and start working around it. And they can see there is also a potential there. So there is definitely a clientage, there is a potential of digital, but physical would for sure be the master according to me, especially in ladies' fashion wear, that's going to be the master. And because of being physically present, I think digital is going to give a boost. But it's a booster according to me. But it cannot be the main source or can ever be the main source when it comes to fashion. Because fashion needs to be felt and it needs to be actually very much connected to what you are liking and it's how you feel it. So which of course you cannot take it from the digital way. There could be some categories, some products, yes, that could go quite easily, much more digital. For example, if you talk about Levi's, for example, a brand like Levi's, they can have the size fits and all very specific. So that can go still more digital. But I think the brands like us, which are more creative and doing new products every season after season, so there needs to be physically touch, felt, and then be worn. And also, if you see, I would say digital, physical, we are talking about so much about it that if this kind of conference we are sitting all here in, right? Before this conference was not happening, we were still doing these webinars, right? And these webinars, I don't know, I'm sure everybody must have had so many webinars, right? Every second day you're getting an invite for webinars. But you don't feel that way in webinars. So when you're here physically and doing this conference here, I think it makes so much more sense. And you get connected. And you can for sure feel, say, and have much more takeaway from when you're physically doing these kind of conferences rather than doing it digitally. So digital will, as we all know, this Z generation and all this up, that as we all are very keen about new mobile phones and new technology, so this will always be a part of it's a part of our life. So this will remain and we just can't ignore it, but this would always be in a ratio, with a certain ratio, but I will still say that physical will be the master.
Rajesh, since you're one of the panelists who represents an international brand, and we always look to the West first, and that's tradition. And although now India is decoupling from the fact what happens in the West may not be necessarily for India, but still we tend to look at new trends from the West. So internationally from your brand, is there a lot more support which is saying that your international brand partners are saying that to invest in digitization of stores? What are they doing in terms of their digital journey of a brand? And particularly because most of your stores, I presume, are in malls, right? They are in malls. So what is the change which is happening from an international brand perspective in the digital world for them?
Thank you, Pankaj. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So before I answer your question about the international perspective, Pankaj, I would like to walk everybody a little past into the history for the last 6-7 years, what is happening in retail market in India. So if we look at the period around 2014 mid, that is when online started entering India, and at that time, everybody started saying that online is the end thing and offline will go away in a matter of a couple of years or something of that sort. But very soon people realized that in a market like India, online and offline are here to stay. They will coexist and they will walk together. Now, what happened in the last 2 years during the COVID period when pandemic happened, all the stores were shut. The sales on online channels suddenly shot up. And offline obviously was closed. So the thought process that was there earlier that online will grow and offline will start dying down, that actually got reinforced during this period of time. However, I personally speaking was never convinced of that. I knew that this is a phase. And actually this happened when lockdown started lifting. There was a rush of people going to the physical stores and malls. Now, of course, one can say that was not only because of shopping, That was also because of socialization, because that's one of the most important factor in human life. But at the same time, shopping of fashion also happened and other categories also happened. Now what happened during this entire journey is that online understood the need of getting into the offline channel to provide the experience to the customer. Offline understood the need of getting online and providing digital experience to the customer. During this entire journey, when retailers were trying to get digitized and the digital online guys were trying to get the physical experience, consumer evolved faster. So it became a more compulsion for retailers and malls and everybody to become more digitalized. And a new term got coined, which is called phygital. Now, I personally prefer to call it humanization of technology. Earlier, there was a technology and there was a human angle. Now, we are trying to humanize the entire technology, and that's called phygital. Given this, what I have personally experienced, we have also invested in technology. However, we are very, very clear that we don't invest in technology just for the sake of technology. For us, that's a tool, and that's not the end game. So we have invested in the right kind of technology which provides us ROI. And when I'm talking about ROI, it does not mean from the financial perspective only. If it brings customer delight, that's a great ROI for us. So we also invested in digital technology. We also have gone omni-channel, which is the in thing these days. But what we found is that in our kind of category, we are online also, we have offline also, and we have omni-channel also. What we have found is that the contribution of omni-channel is very small in our overall scheme of things. The reason what I feel is that the customers who want to buy online, they're buying online anyway. Those who want experience and those who are coming to the stores physically, they don't want to wait. If they were to wait, they could have bought it online and got it delivered. But they want personal experience, that's why they're coming to the stores. And they want to try out those sizes. They don't want to wait even for, let's say, a day, when through omni-channel we can have it delivered to his home or his preferred address. They want to see it, they want to try it out, and they want to immediately own that product. However, having said that, there is a difference. What we have realized is in the categories. A category like fashion will have this kind of a nuance that I have just said, that people who are visiting the stores physically, they want to have that product immediately if they like the product. However, in a standardized product, let's say a mobile phone of a particular brand, of a particular price range, etc., people don't mind it buying it either online or getting it delivered through omni-channel. So that's a major difference that we have realized. However, having said that, phygital, yes, is the in thing, because the customer, those who are visiting the stores also, it's not that they are ignorant completely as we speak today. Unlike the past, when they used to come to the stores and browse the products, and if they like something, that only thing that they used to buy. Today, the customer, even before they enter a store or even a mall, they would have already done their research through online methods, that what is the brand and what is the product that they want to buy. They come to the stores, and that is when they buy those particular range of products or that product only.
But what about in that store when he's come in, the journey inside the store? Is it changing very rapidly to getting some kind of a digital or a tech involved in that play? Apart from a POS system which we see, is there a tech play which is behind the scene happening or inside the store which is happening in a customer experience area?
So tech is definitely playing an important role inside the store also, but that's more of an enabler. That's not a decisive factor. Customer doesn't decide to buy a product or enter a brand because it is digitized.
Like when I go to an Amazon app and I suddenly, suppose searching for a headphone, automatically starts popping up and telling me 5 different new headphones, or somebody who's probably sponsored it, and starts telling me, no, buy this one, this is good, this is what features is. Or an allied product, like if I'm buying a mobile phone, automatically the mobile covers will start coming in alongside. Do you think it will happen in the store as well, that suddenly you're buying a t-shirt and there's a pop-up screens start telling you, listen, with this t-shirt, this pair of shoes will go well or the belt will go well with this. Do you think that journey will happen soon?
I completely agree with you, and I see that future would lie in that only. That online and offline will converge in such a manner that there will not be any differentiation between the two for the customer, either in terms of experience or in terms of technology enablement. Having said that, as we speak today in technology in retail, I think especially the physical stores, we are far behind in that journey. We still need to catch up with that. Online is extremely good in gathering the data and utilizing it properly, either through cookies or whatever methods they're using. Physical stores are still trying to catch up with that. However, I personally believe that that is indeed going to be the journey. AI, VR, AR, they are going to be the truth for most of the retail journey in physical stores also going forward, but that's a little futuristic right now.
You know, and so till now we've got the perspective of retailers where I think all of you all are still lot about and saying there is a physical, I mean, I think all of us know that decision is there, that it's a both side story. It's a retail physical story is definitely there to stay, and there is a retail online story. Maybe some categories and certain brands will move in the others. As Rajesh, you rightly said, there is the investment or the journey on inside the store of digital will take a little more longer time. But coming to you, Harshji, you know, malls, we've seen have adopted technology much more. And you know, you've recently built a large mall in Dwarka in Delhi, and now building many more, apart from other retail assets which you have done. Are you what all investment have you done as a mall developer in technology in your mall, and what do you plan to do in your new malls?
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you, Pankaj. I'm very happy, first of all, very happy to see people physical here. And
I think we all are very happy today.
So thanks to Amitabh, I just saw Amitabh. Last year, we were not imagining that we will meet physically. We will all meet webinar only, like Deepak said. So it proves that we all want to meet physical. So we both will remain physical and digital. And I also agree with some point with Sanjeev ji that in future, there may be some products, some you can say brands where there is no clothes or no product. I will give you one example. We opened one car showroom in Delhi 5 years back when there was no pandemic or so. And it was a digital car showroom, Hyundai showroom, Unity Hyundai. And the idea was that there was no car display. There was only screens were there, LED screens. You just have to touch the screen and you can select the model like Creta or Elantra, or there are so many brands, and the color. And not even the color, you can have the 360 degree of the car. You can see the view, you can view the car inside, outside. And even you can see your competitor's car there. So if you are buying Creta, you can see Kia's car there, you can see MG car there, and all you can compare with you can say digitally. But finally, customer wanted, when they selected the car, they want physically to see the car. They want, okay, I have selected Kia, I have selected Creta, SX is my choice, and white is the color, but I just want to feel it before I give you the check. So that's the story. Similarly, in some of the products, people will certainly go for less number of products, but people want to feel things. It's our human nature. In the mall, our responsibility is even more. We have to go digitally, pandemic or no pandemic. It has to go digitally because everyone is saying that young generation or people have less time now. So where to invest in digital, what are the requirements of the customer, we have to focus on that. Like I will give you an example of Vegas Mall. We were the first one in India to, you can say, do search on what people are looking for. Like in pandemic, people were very much scared about touching things. So first of all, we introduced DotPay app for food court. So in the food court, you have 20 counters. Earlier, people were used to go to each and every counter. They have to check the menu. They have to check the prices and availability. Now there is no need to go to all counters. You just go to food court, scan the code of the dot pay, and all the menu of the entire food court will come up on your phone. And there is no need to download the app even. People are scared about downloading the app of everything. So you just go there, scan it, and everything will come on your mobile phone. And we are running successfully this from the last 1.5 years now. And the best thing is that the money will go automatically to the retailer. Earlier there was a point that digital people, they collect money and then they give to the retailer after deducting some amount. This dot pay, they are instantly transferring the amount to the retailer. So that's the best thing. So customers are now very happy. They go to, you can say food court is full, but they make utilization of time. They just scan the code, search the entire thing, pay there also, and by the time they get the table, the food is ready with them. So that's the first one. That's these type of things are the need of the hour, you can say. Secondly, we did one more thing that government said, okay, you are allowed only for 10,000 people to be in the mall at one time. So that was a big challenge. How we can control 10,000 people only in the mall? It can be 11,000, it can be 20,000, or it can be 8,000. So we, you can say, installed one digital system called Daplo. What Daplo does, it synchronizes all the entry and exit of the mall. So whenever you enter into the mall, it counts you. And whenever you exit from the mall, it deducts the count. So what we do, we feed the number of the people allowed inside the mall. Like if we feed 10,000 people allowed inside the mall, so it will go on counting, deducting people. And when the number reaches 9,900, it starts ringing the bell. And when it touches 10,000, it will close the doors. So people will come out, and then the space is there, he will further allow people to come in. So these are the things which are, you can say, required in future also. Similarly, there are so many other things. I will give one more example. Earlier, we were giving gift vouchers physically. Now the people have no time to, you can say, take the voucher physically and to go to the stores. Now we tied up with a company, Paytm M-Loyal. So what it does, it automatically, when we shop with the Kazo, it automatically gives you numbers in your mobile. So if I shop for 10,000, 100 or 10, whatsoever you fit the nomination, it will come to your mobile. And when you want to redeem them, you can show to Lacoste that, okay, I have this number and I want to, you can say, buy your products. So these type of things will come up, like similar in the parking. So now the FASTag is there, and even this key data, we have a system. There is no need of buying physical tickets or showing to the, giving the money. Just enter, scan the code. It will automatically deduct for your amount, and you have nothing to touch. What I mean to say that digitalization is the future of anything, future of the mall. It would have been earlier also, thanks to pandemic, I will say to thanks. It was a big opportunity to convert things into digital fast.
I completely agree with Harshi, and I remember having this conversation with you many times and having run malls in the past as well. Food court, you always used to say, Pankaj, it's an amenity and a service. It is not a business. Because people, one, the value is very small, and you know, there is no service, because in India we like to be served food on the table. हम लोगों को आदत है restaurant में जाके, you know, everybody wants the service होनी चाहिए. Food court में always people care ये तो सिर्फ कुछ खाना है mall में, तो you go to the food court counter and eat in there. There was no service. I think something like this is pandemic has only helped to make it a minute beyond a service. It has become a business model opportunity wherein the retailer is also saying, I'm getting the money immediately, credit to my account, which is a big pain point in food courts. Because I don't know how many of you remember, most food courts have this card, you have to go preload the card. And I used to find, and I've seen this physically, people used to go fight for the balance, that my balance is there. The person used to say, listen, I don't have the change, or the counter person has gone to the washroom, and you have to keep waiting for the balance to get a refund. Sometimes you take the card back and thinking you'll come back, you lose the card, and the money doesn't come back, you know, you lost that money. But this, I think, this is not I think only a COVID or a pandemic opportunity. I think this has opened a floodgate for food court business to become a very consumer-facing business and become a business opportunity, wherein the retailer is happy because he's getting the money immediately. The customer is happy because he doesn't have to stand in queues to go to 5 counters to first order and then go pick up the food. It becomes a 10 journey. 10 times you have to do. Now you at least have to just go pick up the food. And when I'm presuming you get a notification also, get your food is ready, now you need to go to the counter. Otherwise, people are just hanging around at the counter and waiting, when my order is going to be ready, I'm going to pick it up. And suddenly realize other counter food may be ready and it's getting cold. So I think that's really, really helped. Coming to you, Jatin, and I think really, really good examples of digital, actually investment by a mall developer in the journey of a customer, which is not for a situation which got aided by his pandemic, but has probably become an experience for the customer from long-term perspective. From initiatives like these, you as a group will be putting in or have done, or do you think are required in the digital journey to be investment from a mall perspective?
So, good afternoon again. Again, so happy to see everybody over here physically present. We could have done this over a webinar also, but that's the excitement about being out there, not staying at home. And as we say that, first place, second place, third place. First place is where you spend the majority of your time, which is your home. That's where you sleep. That's where you spend time with your family. Second place is where you go work. There's a major third place that people want to go out to. So that's where we talk about retail, we talk about hospitality, we talk about entertainment, all these areas. And the demand is more than ever now, especially post-pandemic. Saying that, we've invested a lot into technology. A lot of people are saying that offline and online will be present. I totally agree, but not just accepting it, we got to embrace it as well. The time has come. I think technology has integrated and become a vital part of our lives now. In different industries, technology, I think defense is the industry where technology is the fastest moving. The most amount of investment is made over there. On the other end of the spectrum is real estate. The brick and mortar business, I think the smallest amount of investment in technology goes there, and it's the most difficult to change. But post-pandemic, owing to pandemic, a lot of growth has happened over there. A lot of different things are growing within it. So we got to embrace it now. We got to keep changing along with the world, and we got to make it happen. So I'll give you a few examples of that. A lot of AR, a lot of VR technologies have come in now. There's a startup called Mirar. I think they've done a great job with respect to how they've visualized jewelry with respect to people wearing it within the store. So they don't have to have a collection of that high ticket value in the store, and they don't have to worry about that getting stolen. They can have a single SKU within the store. They can see it in a visual environment, how exactly that jewelry is looking on you, place an order, get that delivered on your home. That saves you inventory cost, that saves you real estate cost while being there. It's sort of an O2O, more than a phygital environment, offline to online movement. And you gotta have e-commerce, you gotta have omni-channel, you gotta have a lot of other tech integrations made into it. And we've been managing close to about 5 million square feet area in retail, and also developing further under construction 5 million square feet. What we've seen is that a lot of new areas are coming up, especially in Chandni Chowk. Now that our new project, marquee project, Omax Chowk is coming in Chandni Chowk, we've seen a lot of different use cases over there with respect to how you can control the climate, how you can control the aroma over there, make people feel like they're having an experience. So how Sanjeev mentioned shopping and going out is actually romanticizing. That's an experience that you're selling. You got to connect with people's heart. You don't have to just sell them something. They're there for the experience. They can easily do that over e-commerce, but why they're there is to be able to talk to a person, humanizing the whole experience. Apart from that, there's a video analytics company that we are working very closely with. So today, if you go to a website, there's Google Analytics that gives you heat maps onto which particular website page is having more traffic than the other one. Similarly, in a particular mall, you can have actual visibility into data, what kind of people with respect to the age, with respect to the gender are present in which areas. So you get a lot more analytics, which you can give out to the brands and tell them, this is what's happening. These kind of people are going to your stores. These kind of people are not going to your stores. This is how you should be going about it. So in developed economies, Amazon's already shown how it works. Amazon Go today is you just go inside, pick up whatever you have to pick, go out. You don't have to even pay. That gets automatically credited from your account. So I think there's a long way to go about it, but the change has definitely been accelerated post-pandemic. And we should all embrace it because it's going to coexist. It's going to give a lot more opportunities. Customers were already spoiled. I think we're going to spoil them further with a lot more options, with a lot more ease of shopping, ease of going out and having fun out there.
You know, coming to you, Mukesh, running by 2 successful malls in Mumbai, Harshji talked about the investment which he's done in the shopping center which they've built. And I think those investments are from a customer experience journey and also helping the retailer. And you know, the retailers, all of the retailers, whether it's Sanjay, whether it's Sanjeev and Deepak, as well as Rajesh talked about, is that they still feel that, you know, in the retail store, the journey is still about physicality and feel and touch. But in the malls, from a customer experience, like Harshji said and Jatin talked about, they started investing a lot more in digital to make the customer journey more experiential or making it better, improving their lives or the visit to the shopping center. From your perspective, what investments are you done or are looking to do, and what's required more from an industry perspective in real estate, in the retail side, retail development side, which can make the customer journey better as well as the retailer's journey better in the part of the shopping center?
Pankaj, you know, this whatever they have talked about so far, Harsh or Jatin, about this investment that has been made in the mall, everybody has done something very similar in terms of giving better experience to the customers. Earlier, when you talk about the customer's experience, you used to talk only about the physical experience, but it's no more just physical experience, it's also now digital experience as well. So when a customer comes to the mall, comes to a shop, he expects what he wants needs to be there. So he decides before coming, I'm going to buy a certain thing. If it is not there, he wants it there. He doesn't have to go to some other mall or some other shop to buy that. So he wants that right there. So the investment also has to come from the retailer side, because how they provide that experience to a customer so he doesn't go back disappointed. But what we have not touched upon so far is about the marketing. We can do everything in the mall, but how do you reach out to the customers? There are a lot of investment to be made in that particular area, but how do you reach out to people and give better experience and get people to the mall? That's the basic fundamental to it, which is completely changed over a period of time. If you look at 10 years back, we used to spend money mostly on the print media or maybe on a radio. But things have completely changed. When we used to spend 190 rupees on print and 10 rupees on digital, it's completely changed now. It's almost 50 or maybe 60-40. 40 you spend on print and 60 you spend on the digital media. Because today, reading newspaper is a passe. If you look at past 18 months, you know, if you look at earlier when you get up in the morning, first thing you want to see the newspaper, not anymore. You want to see your news in your mobile or a laptop. So today people have understood that that's the key. You need to reach out to those customers who are basically on the digital media only. The social media has become very, very important. So you have your marketing is channelized through the social media today. We've never thought about influencer marketing earlier. There's nothing called influencer marketing. Why you have to reach out to influencer? But today we have people, for each category there's an influencer. How do you bring him to the mall and do those kind of marketing so that you reach out to those customers who want the particular product, a particular category? Even about the food. Today, before going to a restaurant or going to a mall, you want to see what exactly is there. Then what do? How do you market? You go to Zomato, go to Swiggy and promote your products there. Not only just the restaurant. Even the particular cuisine, what kind of offers you have. It is very important that today the focus is completely shifted from the print media to the digital media. So our focus today is mostly towards how to get your customer to the mall. But it is an omni-channel, so you have to make investment for the opening channel, you need to do it. If you need to upgrade a loyalty program through digital media, you need to do this. You need to make sure that, you know, when the people come to the mall, they block a product through omni-channel in a store and come and pick it up, you need to make that investment. So you have been working in all these aspects and making sure that it reaches to the customer and customer is able to see it before they come to the mall. That's a basic funda today about the marketing and reaching out to the customer through a digital medium.
Great. You know, since we're coming towards the end of the session, I just want to quickly sum it up. I think on the retail journey, on the digitization piece, particularly when the physical retail come in, I think the common consensus on the retailer side, including international brands like Lacoste and, you know, Indian fashion brands like Being Human and Kazo and Spiker, is, you know, there is still a lot more need of the physical customer to do the touch and feel. The digital is an enabler. The reason he's coming to a shopping center or going to a store in the shopping center is because he wants to be there. He wants that experience and not want to be ordered, or he doesn't want to have digital overhand on his head. But I think what they're doing is they're investing digital in their online platform to make that attractiveness of the customer journey, whether it starts from a home or ends up at the store, it starts at the store, it ends up online, is seamless as well. So I think from there, but whereas on the mall side, as Harshji and Jatin and Mukesh said, I think they're investing in various different facets of the tech part of digitization of malls, particularly on the customer journey, whether it's in the food courts, whether it's the parking spaces, whether it's the customer experience in terms of even from a counting perspective and the number of customers coming and visiting the mall. It's not that we only need to do this during pandemic. I remember, I don't remember, all of you typically walk in, there's a security guard at each gate, and he's got a small ticker, which is doing this tick, 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 tick to see how many people are coming in and going, is because the mall developers always are asked this question, what is your footfall? And the retailer is always asking them that question. So I think we all need that numbers. Secondly, I think the mall also from an operations standpoint, and I can vouch to say that, wants to know how many people are coming in at what point on time of the day. So they can plan their services better. To know how many people come in and what kind of customers are coming in. If it's in the morning, if it's a lot more the neighborhood, if it's in a neighborhood shopping center, there's a lot more women coming with young children, they need to make the services of the mall keeping in mind that mothers with young children are going to come. If it's a weekend and there's a lot more coming with young families, they need to keep provision for that. It's a lot more elderly coming in, you need to make provisions for that. Plan your parkings accordingly in terms of the times up and down, the time when customers come. Because when there are movie shows, you have to plan your parking accordingly. And you can program, technology can be used to program that. And you know, Mukesh, I think very, very valid point today is that I remember shopping malls spending huge amount of money to attract customers and announcing their sales of all their brands in the mall, or shopping festivals and luxury festivals, and during Diwali or Christmas or New Year's and particularly big events or holidays, it used to be the full page ads, and I've suddenly seen the ads are there, not that the full page ads are not there, but today a lot more is on their Instagram pages, and that's where they're spending their marketing dollars on their Instagram pages and getting influencers to walk the mall. And I've seen that in malls, these influencers are actually going from store to store, trying on a dress or trying on a shirt, picking up a bag, going and eating at the food court, putting a comment alongside. And I think that journey and that money is being spent on that is a lot more. So I think that what we're talking about, digitization and investment in both in physical retail from a mall and a retail perspective, it's a journey which has been undertaken. A lot more investment has started going in from both the sides, particularly on the front part from the mall side, and in the retailers on the back end side, from an experience to starting online to an offline store. Thank you so much. Really, really insightful, points. I think the audience will pick up a few things which we can implement, and we'll have new things to talk about when we come to the next year's session, and definitely, hopefully, physically now. Yeah. Thank you so much. Guys, any audience, any questions? Anybody has any questions for the panelists? No? Good? Great. Thank you so much.